single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hey there, Cerise here. Welcome to Storytime from Sosua Shores. Guys, this is a personal story of mine. This happened about 6 months ago. All right, first let me give you the backdrop. So you guys know that I find, well, some of you know that I find apartments and rentals also for you guys to buy, whether they're apartments, villas, studios, houses, whether it's here in Sosua, Cabarete, Puerto Plata. You know, here in the north coast of the Dominican Republic, I do a lot of that type of helping people out. You know, also I know someone in Punta Cana who I don't really know too well, but I know the person is trustworthy and is really good at what he does. And I know I can connect you with him as well in the Punta Cana area. All right. So here I am, you know, finding apartments for people. This is 6 months ago. It's high season. And guys, the notifications, I'm going to try to turn down my phone here. So I'm uploading a story time right now as we speak. So I do need my internet on. So I can't put it on airplane mode. Let's see if turning down the noise will stop the notifications in the phone as I'm talking. All right. So here we go. A guy contacts me for an apartment, right? And I just want to get into the meat of it. A guy contacts me for an apartment. Let's call him John. He emails me and he says, "Hey, I was watching your videos and I was hoping you can help me find an apartment." And I got back to him and I said, "Hey, what's up? I can definitely help you. Please let me know what your preferences are and your budget." He got back to me and how long he'd be staying for, right? And he got back to me and also when he'll be coming. Okay, I really needed that information. When are you coming? How long are you staying for? What is your budget and what are your preferences? And so when I got back to him with that, he got back to me with a very simple list through email. And he said, "Furnished, I'm an easy guy, I'm easy to please, and 400 is the budget." So I was like, all right, no worries. 400 is a pretty good budget. With $400, I got back to him and I said, he said he wanted to be on Pedro Clisante, which is in the heart of El Bate, which is in Sosua. Okay. And he said, and that's where all the main stuff is, all the main attractions. Well, for Sosua anyway, right? And so I told him I can get him a place, $400. This is what I could get for him. A 1-bedroom apartment in a villa type layout apartment building, which is 3 floors, 3 stories. Beautiful terrace. Also, a pool is in the villa area. It's a private pool for that apartment villa. And then he could have air conditioning, but he would have to pay extra for electricity. Also, electricity, period, he has to pay for, but with air condition, it's a little bit more. Not by much, probably about $50 a month if you use it, smartly. You don't turn it on when you go outside. You turn it on when you're inside, stuff like that. So you're not overblowing it. But so I said to him, $400, 1-bedroom apartment, pool, everything furnished, flat screen TV, internet, couch in the living room, comfy, like I said, beautiful terrace, and spacious 1-bedroom. And I sent him the video link for the apartment, and he loved it. And I said, that's an example of what you can get for $400, but I would need to know your dates. And he got back to me and he said he's not booked yet, but as soon as he books, he'll contact me. Great. So he got back to me and he said he's booked. And he's like, okay. And he said he was booked for November. And I said, all right, November's high season. I said to him, all right, that's good stuff. Okay. Why don't you let me know exactly how long you're going to be staying for? And I'm going to contact landlords right now and see what's available for you. And then he got back to me And he said, "What? You said this apartment was mine already. You said this one I can get. And, now you're telling me a different story?" And I got back to him. And my heart said, don't work with him at that moment. But I also didn't want to be too sensitive, But, I did sense that the guy was a little bit of a belligerent type, So I got back to him and I said, "Listen, please. I gave you an example of what you could get. But most apartments that I could get for you would have the same standards. I wouldn't tell you 400 and then you arrive and, it's like, something in the side of a wall." And I said to him, "You have to trust me if we're going to work together." Okay. And then I sent him a few other videos and like links. And I said, "For example, here's one for 360, but it doesn't come with a pool. I'll be contacting him too. So for $360 a month, if the guy doesn't need a pool, he might want to cut his losses. His expenses, and save $40 a month, right? And put that towards having a good time here, especially if since he's so close to the beach where I was thinking about putting him." So he got back to me and he's like, "Okay, all right, good, thank you. And I said, "All right." So he seemed a little calm. Now I found an apartment for him for his dates. He was staying for a month. He said he might have stayed a little longer, but he wasn't knowing and he wanted to get here first. It was his first trip. So then I got back to him and I told him what was available. And I said, "Yes, actually that apartment, the first one that I did send you for 400 is available. So are these ones." And I sent him a few links and he got back to me and he's like, "Yep, I want the first one. Book me in." And I said, "All right, awesome." So the same one with the pool, the Villa Outlook. It was really nice. I lived in it for 3 months. I love it myself, right? So, and I still have I have a few friends that live in there now. One guy been living there for 3 years. Shouts out to James, so it's a nice complex. It's very beautiful. So anyway, I said to him, "All right, I'll book you in right now. All I need is for you to send the deposit to this name." And it was going to be to one of the landlords that I work with. Now, these landlords aren't going to rip off anyone. They have been in the business for so long. That one building has been there for so long, and they're not looking. They're on Airbnb and they rent it out for much more than 400 a month on Airbnb. They rented out daily rates on Airbnb. So anyway, I got back to him, right? And that's when I said to him, he has to send a deposit. Well, and he got back to me. He was not too happy. He was yelling in his words, all caps and very belligerent. And, "I'm not sending any deposit. What do you think this is? I don't trust you. I'm not sending money to a foreign country." So I said, "All right, how am I going to handle this dude? Do I get all hood on him? You know what I'm saying? Do I just, mirror his actions? Or do I kind of cushion him a little bit? Because yes, I understand where he's coming from. You don't want to be sending money to a foreign country to someone you don't know. But he said he was watching my videos and he said that he liked the videos. And, if you have to pay ahead of time on Airbnb to book a place, why would it be any different to book a place in person? If you're contacting me, I work just like Airbnb. However, the difference is very often I can get cheaper rates for you. So I got back to him with the understanding that the guy's just being somewhat of a needy person. He needs to be reassured, and he wasn't trying to be angry. Okay, I convinced myself of that and continued to work with him. So I got back to him and I said, "I understand that you don't trust me, but I got to tell you this. The landlords don't know you, and they don't know if they can trust you. What if you book their place for an entire month and you don't show up because you found a cheaper place, or maybe somewhere in a different location? Quite often people think they want to stay in Sosua, and then all of a sudden they go and they stay in Cabarete or even Cabrera. They change their mind at the last moment and they don't commit. And then what? The landlord is left high and dry trying, like, could have booked that on Airbnb for even more. That has never happened to me where someone, well, actually, it kind of did once, but that was in a video that I did before. It was called Greedy Gringa. So that's in story time. That story was called Greedy Gringa, and that's the only time that it happened to me. But I'm very careful now, right? That was because that woman booked a year lease, and I don't really encourage that at all. But the woman didn't get burned, the landlord did. The landlord understood. She knows how the business goes. Now, I don't want that happening to any of the landlords that I work with ever again. So in any case, this dude, he didn't feel comfortable sending the money, and I didn't feel comfortable. I needed to do business the way I do business. So I said to him, if you can't trust me, I'm not able to work with you. You have to send the $400 deposit for you to hold the place. And when you get here, you also have to pay the first month's rent. That 400 deposit stays. And then you have to pay the rent when you get here, first and last, if you're staying for more than a month or a month, right? So I had to pay. I knew the person, I know the woman, the landlord, and I had to pay my deposit and my first month's rent when I moved in. There are no exceptions because it's for a security deposit. When you leave, they give it back. This place does not rip off anyone. So I reassured him of that. Now, I could tell at this point he was probably on a budget. He sounded a little bit older, just in his words and his reactions and the way he was speaking down, like attempting to speak down to me. I felt like he didn't have a lot of money to play with. He just sounded like very defensive and angry. But I was like, I didn't want to play with his money either. So when I said that to him, I reassured him that, I'm in the media, I'm in the public eye, I'm not about to take your money. And, when you get here, you'll be safe in this place. You'll love it. You'll thank me for it. And he was like, nope, I'm not sending the money. You're going to have to book me in. And I said, no, I don't have to do anything for you at all. And he was too belligerent. And at that moment, I said, you know what? I don't want to work with him. Actually, I don't even want him in any of the landlord's apartments that, I work with, because he may be so difficult and make their life miserable. They don't need that. I could tell he was an angry man. So he turns around and, he leaves me another email. I didn't even bother. All I said to him was, I was like, listen, do me a favor, please. Just don't contact me again. I won't be doing business with you. There are a lot of apartments on Airbnb. Rent yourself an Airbnb. When you get down here, only rent yourself an Airbnb for a week. When you get down here, you will find a place to stay. Like I told him straight up, you'll be able to find a place on your own. Just get down here. Airbnbs are safe. Hotels are safe. If you're coming for a month, you'll be able to get something once you're here. Straight up, I'm not working with you. Dude, that's it. And I said, please don't contact me again. And he didn't contact me. Now, fast forward to about a month later. There's a guy, he emails me and he says, oh, Cerise, I'm going to be in Sosua on this date and that date. I need an airport pickup. Now, I'm just going to tell you right out the gate, it's the same guy emailing me under a different name, but I didn't know at this point. And it was a different date he was giving me. So imagine if I did have a soft spot for the guy and be like, okay, you can't send the deposit, I'll book you in for the date. And then he wasn't even coming on that date. He wasn't even booked for that date. Here he is contacting me for airport pickup. At the airport, and with a totally different date. Anyway, I sent a car for him. Had no clue it was the same guy. My driver is in the car with the guy, and my driver contacts me. All my drivers are Dominicans. Most of them are taxi drivers. They all have their taxi licenses. The ones that pick you up at the airport are licensed anyway. The ones that do the tours are licensed as well to do tours and everything like that. Taxi drivers, right? But they always give me a good rate. $25 from the airport to Sosua, and that's a really great rate because they could charge 30 to 50 getting their own clients at the airport. But they know with me there's a steady flow because you guys contact me for the cheap prices as well. And I like to offer that for you. So now this guy's in the car with my driver. My driver calls me, puts me on speakerphone, and all of a sudden, my driver says, "Hey, Cerise, the client wants to talk to you." And I'm like, "All right." So the client's like, "Cerise." I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm going to be staying at a hotel, hotel blah, blah, blah. And come on over there and see me." Now, I don't get over to that hotel often. I've been to that hotel a couple of times. I sang over there before, like for karaoke with Mr. T from the Educated Traveler channel. So, we both love karaoke. So I've been there like 2 times in total in the whole time that I've been here. And so I said to him, "I'm sorry I don't get over that area very often, but if you want, you just give me a shout when you're here. When you get settled in, WhatsApp me, and we could go to Pedro Clasante and have a bite to eat or a drink or something there and catch up." Now, I meet a lot of you guys coming in from YouTube and around the world, Facebook and everything, Instagram. And I got to tell you, I don't go to your hotels. You guys know that. You guys who have met me. Most of you have met me just here by chance on the street because I'm very active here in the area, and I'm always in the area, like in the restaurants or, karaoke places and everything that I film on my video. So I'm very active and very social here, and a lot of you guys meet me by chance. But a few of you, when you do contact me to meet up with you, you never ask me to come to your hotel. And those of you who do, it's usually because you have a restaurant at the front of your hotel, or it's convenient for you because there's a restaurant you really don't know your way around too well. Somewhere like Europa or something, is totally fine because there's a restaurant right out front, and right out the front of the corner we can meet. This guy was asking me to go to his hotel, and I said, "No, I don't get out to that hotel often," and I really don't. It's by Playa Chiquita. And I said, "We'll meet on Pedro Clasante, WhatsApp me." And he's like, "Oh, I don't have WhatsApp. I just have a flip phone." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, when you get to your hotel, contact me from the front desk, and we'll make a time for us to meet on Pedro Clasante when you're settled in." And he's like, "All right." Now, he never did contact me. So fast forward for about a week, maybe 2. Here I am at one of my favorite places that I like to hang out. And I'm sitting out front, and he walks by. And I didn't know it was him. He stops in the street. I'm sitting beside a YouTube viewer. Actually, the YouTube viewer, shouts out to Lewis. The YouTube viewer, Lewis, came here. Him and I spoke a few times on the phone before he came here via WhatsApp, and he was interested in buying property and everything. And when he got here, we were both very busy, and we didn't have a chance to meet up. But the same day, I was sitting in the front part of the bar restaurant, and it has like high top seats out front, and I like to sit there. It has like a tiki tent type of roof, so it has a little bit of shade, but also on sunny days you see people walk by, and I get to meet all you guys. So Lewis goes by in the street on his new motorcycle, and then he gets off the bike. He's like, "Cerise," and he comes and he sits down beside me, and we start talking. He gets a beer, and I had a glass of red wine, and we're just talking about life. We're talking about his experiences, my experience, blah 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 blah. He looked like a happy guy, and then all of a sudden, that's when this guy comes. He rolls up on us, and this guy says, let me give you the backdrop on him and how his appearance looks. So he's about 5'7", skinny, leathery skin that looks like it's over tanned, stringy hair that looks like it's greasy, and graying. Probably about 60, but looks about 70. I'm sorry if I sound really, like I'm just putting it out there just so you guys can get the image. And like just kind of like a really mean scroll on his face, just kind of like the look that you just look like someone just peed in his cornflakes type of look. And so he rolls up on me and he's like, Cerise Fairfax. Now, if he was writing it, it would have been in caps. And I said, yes. Now, at first, my spirit shook. I was like, whoa. Immediately, he was like a vexation to my spirit, like, oof. And I was just like, wow. And I said, yeah. And he's like, I got a bone to pick with you. And I'm like, oh, okay. What is it? And he's like, no, not right now. Another time, we'll sit down and have a drink. I can see you're busy. And I was like, no, it's okay. And Lewis knew it was okay because the guy was kind of belligerent at first. And, and then he kind of came off like, when we have a drink? No, dude, I'm not having a drink with you already. I can see you're a person that I would not want to sit down with. And I'm not trying to be cold here, but I'm just keeping it real. And then I said, you tell me right now why you got to pick a bone. And he said, you left me high and dry. And I said, how? He said, I got here and you didn't even get me an apartment. And I said, okay, wait, back up. Who are you? Because there are some people who I talk to on the phone. They're looking for an apartment. I send them a few apartments and, we have to settle up on dates and, or they might be contacting me more on Facebook and I need them to contact me on WhatsApp. Or their budget is just way too low. They're looking for something for like $150 a month, 2-bedroom. And they're also wanting it to be furnished. And those are just sometimes I really, or some people will just leave me a message and they'll be like, Cerise, I want an apartment, please. And they won't give me a date. Their preference is I need immediately for when you leave me a WhatsApp message, you leave me a date and everything immediately. Your budget, when you're coming, how long you're staying for, what your personality is like, everything. If you like noise, if you don't like noise, everything. I need to know all that off the hop and I can send you a bunch of videos and links and it makes the process a lot shorter because I do get a lot of WhatsApp messages every single day. Right now I'm at 200 I have to answer today. So that's why I really need detailed messages. So anyway, now I forgot where I was, but with him, he's confronting me and I'm like, who are you? And he's like, well, I'm the guy that emailed you for airport pickup drop off. He goes, I just spoke to you the other day. And I was like, oh, okay. Where does this apartment thing come in at? You didn't even tell me about the apartment the other day. When you showed up, you told me you were staying at the hotel. And he's like, yeah. And here you are telling me that you never get over to that area and it's only a 10-minute walk away. And I'm like, yeah, but dude, I'm not going to walk all the way over there and take time out of my day when I can meet you here. And I have other meetings set up here. Like, come meet me here. Plus, it gets you out of your hotel. It gets you on a motoconcho. And if it's only a 10-minute walk away and you found yourself already over here, what's the big problem? And I said to him, you didn't ask me for an apartment when I spoke to you the other day on the phone. And he said, no, through email. And I said, no, I don't remember that. You emailed me for only an airport pickup. And he said, no, before I emailed you and I asked you about the apartment and you told me you want a deposit. I'm not sending a deposit. And that's when I put 2 and 2 together. And I said, brah, right away, immediately. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're the dude I told, do not contact me again. And then you contacted me for an airport pickup underneath a different name, a different email address. And you have the audacity right now to stand out in the street and yell at me the way you are. And he came into the restaurant, came behind me to get to the other side of me. And I didn't like that very much. I felt very confronted. When he came into the restaurant and he came around me, first of all, he had to pass Lewis. And as he passed Lewis, I watched my back. I turned right around and watched my back and then watched the other side as he popped onto the other side of me. And he stood in front of me and he's like, still talking loud. But I think it was his attempt to make peace. But he was drunk and he smelled like just a drunk tank. He smelled like, just a lot of cigarettes and and he was too close. And I don't like all that. Don't be spitting on people and have some respect, bro. Like, you know? And so I just looked at him and I said, "You are invading my personal space. Get lost." And he looked and he's like, "What?" And I said, "Yes. Don't come on up here and yell at me. Go back out of the restaurant." And he was 2 seconds from getting kicked out anyway because the owner saw it immediately. And the owner knows that I'm more of a peacemaker and I'm always chill. And that was the first time anyone ever came up and rolled up on me like that here in this country, right? And this man was, I don't remember, I know he's North American, but I'm pretty sure he was Canadian. Pretty sure I remember off the top of my head because pretty sure. But anyway, he gets back out into the front of the road on the street and he's facing me again, right? And he's like, "Oh, well, I don't care." He goes, "You know what? I ended up getting an apartment anyway." And I'm like, "Okay, good stuff." And he's like, "Yep, guess where I got it from? From one of your channels on your video, one of your videos on your channel." And I said, "Good. So I did help you in a roundabout way. Thank you. But do me a favor. Next time, don't roll up on me like that. That's disrespectful, dude." And that was it. Oh, I did say to him, I did tell him that, don't have me call the police on you right now. When he was standing beside me up on by where my seat was, that's when I said, "Don't have me call the police on you." And I do have a police friend that I can call at any time. One of my viewers gave me the police officer's name. I was on the beach one day and one of my viewers and I were hanging out listening to some music, and my viewer said, "Cerise, come here. I want to introduce you to this officer. If you ever have a problem, you can contact him." And that officer I see often in the street, and there was one time where I did have to contact him. And he was right there for me. So I know that if I have any issues, I'm good. And so, yeah, that guy tried to roll up on me like that, and I didn't appreciate it very much. And I didn't appreciate the double email, and I didn't appreciate all that. And then he had the nerve. He thought he goes, "Aha," and he walked away as he got the apartment from my channel, which is good, but anyway, after that, I saw him that same day. He walked back down the street and he gave me a dirty look, but he was on the other side of the road and he knew I was serious. He was probably very surprised that I handled him the way I did. Even Lewis said to me, he's like, he goes, "I would have said something, but I didn't feel I had to. You handled yourself." And I said, "Thank you." Like, I am from the hood in Toronto, Canada. I'm from Regent Park. I'm from the hood. And, I have a lot of street smarts and book smarts as well. And, I've seen a lot and I've heard a lot. And, I'm from the hood. If some of you guys don't know what that means, it means I'm from humble beginnings. And the last thing I want is right now in my life, as I'm doing my business and, not in retirement, but doing what I'm doing here and living my life peacefully. Last thing I need is some dude acting like, some belligerent whatever. I don't want to get into name calling, right? But rolling up on me like that, And I saw him after that, and he was in the road. Now, he was sitting on the sidewalk itself. There was stairs behind him, but he was sitting on the sidewalk. He chose to sit like not on the bottom step, but with his back to the bottom step, legs crossed, and he was eating food. Just chilling like a hobo, or just chilling like, a 60s child type of thing, and eating his food. So he ordered some food, right, in a takeout container, and I looked at him and I was just all whatever. I just kept it moving. I was walking down the street towards the playa, towards the beach, and I saw him. I didn't say anything to him. I haven't seen him since, but that was a little bit of a unnecessary confrontation because I felt like, what, if he was just a little trustworthy out the gate and sent his deposit, I would have made sure that I had his back, But it's unfortunate that it turned out that way, but I'm also very happy that I didn't get him a place. I'm happy because two things I'm happy for. One, he went and found the apartment on his own. And so the landlord knows that I did not get the place for him, so I'm not responsible for that tenant. But the landlord, number two, would be thankful that I have the video of that place because the landlord got a whole month rent from this guy, and neither of them had to give me anything. He didn't have to give me his $50 deposit, his $50 finder's fee for me to find him a place. And the landlord, some landlords offer 10% from their income. But I don't take the 10% from the landlords. And that's why a lot of the landlords here give you guys discounts, because I take a break there. Like here, when you find a landlord apartments, most landlords, if you say to them, the rule is 10%, they give you 10%, right? It's just like an unspoken law rule amongst the Dominicans. And so when you're working with the Dominicans, if you say to them, someone that rents out apartments and stuff, if you say, well, can you give me 10%? Chances are they will say yes. Chances are they won't offer it if you don't know about it. But if you know about it, chances are they'll be like, yeah, no problem. And that'll be it. Even maybe 5%, depending on how much the rent is. So, this landlord got a free rental, and that guy got a good place to stay, because that place he'd staying at, I lived there as well for 4 months. Right? So that place doesn't have a pool. That place was a place that I stayed in that's up a little bit farther from the beach, but is still a good location. So it's a win-win situation for both of them. And so I'm happy with that, because I wouldn't want to put him in a place as belligerent as he is and be responsible for him and afterwards have to apologize to a landlord. I just wouldn't want that at all. So it turned out well and it gave me a lot of experience. And, again, guys, WhatsApp is one of the best forms of communication because it's a free app. On WhatsApp, I can send you videos. I can send you links to my channel that you guys can go through all my videos for apartments, and you can get an idea of where you would like to stay. And also, again, you just tell me what your preferences are, and we work together. And through WhatsApp, we can get it done very quickly, or even Facebook Messenger. But again, Facebook Messenger, what happens is your messages get put in spam. Same thing as Instagram. So I have to go into to the extra account, not the extra account, but the extra mailbox and everything, which I don't mind doing, but I like to have it uniformed, all in my WhatsApp. So, you can WhatsApp me right away and I'll get what you want. And then we work together immediately. And I think that is, for me, better because, again, not only videos, but photos, we can even chat, audio, even like voice notes I can send to you. Anything you need, you can just contact me even when you're here. And it's a free application. So, I've learned now that there are people out there who, that are right. Once they get here, they're going to do all right. But at the same time, there are certain people who are not very good to work with. And it's best for me just to kind of be like, clean my hands of them. So I was right. In my first email to him, when I told him don't contact me, I was 100% on the money when I was like, I don't want to work with you. And when I saw him in person, I think that's where he wanted to get back at me for that email, not because I left him high and dry here. I mean, brother gave himself away. Dude gave himself away. I'm like, dude, you just told me your lie. Like, you just let the cat out of the bag. He's like, yeah, from a different account, from a different email address. I'm like, well, why would you do that to me? Leave me alone. I don't want to work with you at all. I don't like you. I don't like how you treat people. I think that you are a very mean person, and I don't want any landlord to have to deal with you, is what I wanted to say to him, but I didn't. I said to him, I just don't want to work with you. But it is what it is. All right, guys. I don't have anything else to say now, but I do have some more stories that I'll be sharing with you guys soon. If you have a story, you can send it to me at 829-702-7726. Guys, I'm getting a lot of story on my WhatsApp, and you guys are trusting me because you know that I keep all the names confidential. Even in this story, I didn't talk about the guy's name who contacted me because it's not for me to trash people like that. I'm just sharing information and experiences. So, also, you can leave me a voice note. You can leave me photos. I will not send the photos to any video or attach them to anything. Alrighty. Oh, but remember, I have a lot of stories coming in from you guys. So, I'm quite backlogged. I'm still working on stories from, oh my gosh, from over a month ago. So, keep them coming in though, because they're endless and I love putting them up daily. Alrighty, guys, have a wonderful day. I love you. Big blesses.
Every single day